Hey guys, well, I finally admitted defeat on this robot design after countless hours. I don't know, you're looking anywhere from 50 to 60 hours on this design and all the variations and everything. Um, I've come to the conclusion that I can't do this with the parts that I have. I think this design works fine. What I went out and bought were a few of these longer nuts, kind of like a hex shaft, since I had to change the design I was working with. So these fit in fine. These are 11 millimeter into the socket, so those work fine. Um, I'm inclined to think the gearing down would work, that the professor suggested. So as mentioned in the previous video, this is a 201 to 1 gear down, so I'm producing a lot more torque. The biggest problem I'm having right now is I can't get anything connected to these shafts without the shafts just ripping it off. So I tried hot glue, which has kind of been my weapon of choice throughout most of this, but it shredded that pretty quick. I tried melting plastic onto it, which I know isn't that smart, but you know, in for penny, in for pound, that didn't work. Um, I then tried soldering to it. Solder won't stick to it, so that wouldn't work. So outside of welding, which I'm definitely not capable of doing, nor would I think would be a great idea with hex shafts this small, I'm out of options. I did find like this is really what I need. This coupling joint. This one's a 30 millimeter length, so it would work perfectly. Basically, the hex shaft goes into it, and we have a set pin that we use to hold everything in place. The problem is $5 a hit, and they won't be here until mid-June. I'm already, I was supposed to be done this course a few days ago, and at this point in time, I don't even have a functioning robot. I have a laundry list of attempts and basically failed ideas in that regard, but I don't have a robot to show for it. So I'm gonna have to abandon the idea of doing the Sphero. I did see a lot of people online. They would use like an RC car. So basically, this setup. Take the plank off it, put wheels on it, and let it roll around in it. But it just doesn't work well to me. It's really hacky, and it doesn't look right. It doesn't roll right. And I don't think it would be really conducive to anything that I could do and make it look somewhat decent. So I don't feel like going that route. I think this is the design that would work the best, in all honesty, if I had some of these coupling joints, and assuming that they'd be strong enough to hold onto these hex shafts. But without those, I'm really out of ideas for how to affix anything to these hex shafts that can handle the torque. It just rips through it. Good in finding the problem really, which was I wasn't generating enough torque, and the solution being to change the gearing ratio on this. And thanks to the professor for pointing out that gearing down would help. Unfortunately, it's just producing way too much torque for what I have on hand, and I need that torque for sure to roll this thing. In the end, I feel like that's the solution. And if I had the proper parts, I think that this thing would roll properly. So I'm happy to have come to that, and to now understand a bit more about gearing down, and how to efficiently use motors. I'll probably still end up ordering these. Maybe not the 30 millimeter length ones, but some smaller ones. And then I can, in the future, I can use those with the set screws to actually, attach things to these hex shafts. So anyway, stay tuned. I'll come up with a new design concept. Running out of time now a bit, but pretty happy with what I've learned so far. Frustrated to have nothing to show for it, but it's definitely been a learning experience, from the electrical side, the mechanical side, the physics side of it. It's all starting to come together and sink in for me. I just need now to have something to show for it. So stay tuned. I'm going to email the professor, let him know that I'll need to change my course of action and start on a new plan.